Surya did click on that. He came in the beginning. You know what? I got reminded. I don't know if I ever mentioned it in the class. You know, Santhanam committee.
Yes,
Right? Did I mention anything about it ever? No. Santhanam committee was for basically anti-corruption, and based on their recommendations, CVC, CBI, etc., came in early 1960s. You know, the opening sentence, not opening, the paragraph of Santhanam committee as to why corruption exists in India. And you know what they write? Read sometime if you can. It says, the biggest reason for corruption in India is lack of idealism in the youth of this nation. Our youth has lost idealism. And what really hurts me, and not hurts, I feel pain, when I find teachers also killing that idealism. You know, I'm very harsh in the class. I'm a very different personality outside the class. You know, it's very hard to believe. Because I expect a lot from the aspirants. You know, I expect a lot from all of us, including myself. You know, on an average, I take 3 classes a day. But even in my 3rd class, nobody can say that I'm tired or anything. You know, it's so surprising even for me at times. When I'm coming to the class, I feel, oh, it's like tired, एक और class कैसे लेंगे? But just from the door till here, it's all gone. Because it's, when I look at you again, I feel like, wow, it's my responsibility now to make you better. I don't know how much I am able to do that in my own way of teaching. And somebody said, I humiliate others. It's not humiliation, it's again that balance, you know, that that should be there, to keep reminding you that where are we lacking? You know, how can we make it better? Where more we have to go ahead? Right? It's a mixture. It's both things. So I was really going through that, and I felt that it's good that some of you can connect to Santhanam committee report written 50 years ago, 60 years ago actually, late 1959 or 60 it was appointed. So some of you can still see that that lack of idealism has to be killed. It's good to be ideal. If not in the youth, when will you be ideal? Because gradually, as you become the part of the system, you will start accepting things. When a child is born in India, they are all always taught, chalta hai. ये भी चलता है, वो भी चलता है, ये भी चलता है, चलता है. But somewhere I think we, you know, the present generation, the present people who have the energy and capability, they have to put the foot down and say, nahi chalta hai. This is not acceptable. So I always say that, you know, in your career, pick one thing, any one thing, which is close to your heart, which I meant in other ways that take one recommendation, whatever, any one thing which touches your heart, which makes you feel, you know, connected, emotional with an agenda. Pick that and give it your life. You know, you should be known at the end of your career, end of your life, anytime for that agenda. He or she was the crusader for this purpose. He or she was the crusader for child rights. He or she was the crusader for women empowerment. He or she was the crusader for decentralization. Anything which you think is really going to change, give it all your best. And now, anyway, in civil services, this trend has started with the new government and people realizing that they're not going to be generalists anymore. The problem with generalists is they're not expert in anything, which works for a person at the level of minister. Minister is the biggest generalist, even illiterate maybe. What more generalist you want? उसको कुछ कोई specific knowledge भी नहीं है. But they can't have the entire bureaucracy also generalist. So this is what we're saying, functional domains. So that is coming up. Maybe you want to become an expert in I don't know, you know, money market. Being a civil servant only, because you think that is something, you want to become a crusader of climate change, or, you know, protection of climate change. You know, anything, it could be anything, it need not be always food, illiteracy, or, you know, crime in India, anything which you're passionate about, just go after that. And, you know, I really have to teach also, the class will be extended, but anyway, that's fine, today is the last class, so I tell another 8-9 बजे तक. You have another class after this, right? Raj sir, okay. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You can see, you know, this is another skill of teaching. I can finish a topic in 10 minutes also. And I can take the topic on and on for 2 hours. How much I want to elaborate on this. But there is a minimum justice I should do, because otherwise, it's unfair that I explain something in another class and not in this class. But, if I can leave you the classes here with just a couple of messages. One message, as I said, if people say you are too ideal, take it as a compliment. Tell them, yes, I am ideal and I'll remain ideal. Okay? It's not your job to make others ideal. Let them be how they are. You remain ideal. Keep aspiring for it. Because see, when you don't aspire for the highest goal, see, secularism is the biggest ideal we have. Have we achieved it? Are we the most secular country? No, but that is an ideal. Your preamble sets the ideals for you. Are we the best democracy in the world? No, but that's an ideal. Right? So your entire preamble, your entire constitution is telling you that idealism. When it says sovereign, socialist, democratic republic, what is that? Ideals of the people of this country. Why to forget those ideals? That's one thing. It's good to be ideal. At least while you are young, while you have that energy, because you can try to implement it. Secondly, I think I have told this earlier also, maybe, but I'll repeat. In your next phase of preparation, another 1 year at least or more, and then your service in the civil service or outside somewhere else, wherever you go, there are always phases in our lives, as our friend was also telling earlier, that it's all ups and downs. There are days when we have so much achievements, and there are days when we feel sad. What's going on? There's no control, right? 5 days I have not read the newspaper. My score in Vajiram test is so bad. My colleagues have finished their syllabus. But there are days when you feel very proud. Wow, this is it. Similarly in the service also, in your professional life, personal life, every day, there will be ups and downs. In the civil service, you will become a civil servant. You designed a scheme. It got Nobel Peace Prize. Narega was given Nobel Peace Prize. You are the architect of Narega. You'll be like, wow, I'm the greatest civil servant in this country. India is progressing good. But then there will be other times also when you'll feel little lost. What is happening? While I was in the class, I had so much idealism, but I'm not able to implement that idealism. There is so much political interference. Even for the smallest thing, I find there is no budget, there is no discretion. I thought I'll change the world, but यहाँ तो कुछ नहीं हो रहा है. You'll feel little depressed, little cornered in a situation. And generally, when you are surrounded in public life, there are more of those situations only. Now, how to handle this? How to maintain that motivation? Because for your exam, it's a very long-term game. Very long-term. Even right now, you have more than 1 year before you will go to the academy. Abhi to last year ka result aaya. Even they have not gone to academy. They'll go to academy in August. अब तो आपके मेंस है, इंटरव्यू will go for 2.5 months and result will come. If everything goes fine, then we have 1 year. Maybe another attempt. It's a very long-term journey. So you have to have that constant motivation. So this is where I just always feel, people are always in search of some answers. There's one thing that I figured out. I don't know if it will work for you. That whenever these ups and downs are happening in your life, try to not let them go out of control. See, this is bad. You will feel disappointed, you will feel happy. The graph should not go out of control. Now, how to do that? It's very easy to say. If somebody failed, many of my colleagues have passed, they have failed also final result. If somebody is upset, if I tell them, no, don't be upset. Does it make any sense? Oh, don't feel sad. It's okay, prelims fail ho gaye, koi baat nahi. It doesn't matter. These things don't work for anybody. I'm feeling sad because I failed in the exam. I am feeling sad. It's a down phase of my life. बोलने से क्या हो जाएगा कि don't feel sad, don't feel sad. I did not plan today that in the morning that today I'll feel sad. Okay, tomorrow I'll feel happy. When I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling sad. It's not in my control. Especially for sadness, it's out of control. But what I have figured out, the real trick is that you can control your happiness. Why the graph goes down is because you let the graph go up. You get attached with good times, with success. So failure hurts more. If you don't let the graph go up, if you keep it under control, when it goes down, it will be under control. How to do that? Especially for civil service or this exam. When you are in the phase of success, keep it low. Don't get carried away. You got rank 1. It's okay. Feel happy. Go on the cloud 9. Celebrate for 1 week. But then come back to earth. How to do that? I have mentioned many times. People will surround you. Vajram will call you, "Aajao, yahan aajao, bachcho ko inspire karo." Media will take you into. Prime Minister might call you, PMO might call you. You rank 1 of this year, meet the Prime Minister. But don't get carried away. Don't become a celebrity. Because the moment you get carried away, trust me, when the bad times come, it will get into depression. And I've told you also the fundamental rule of civil service. We work from behind the curtain. We are not a celebrity. We are not here to get the fame or even the blame. Because blame or fame is the game of politics. If you are here for that, get into politics. It's very easy, it's very natural for us to get attracted. If you come and tell me that, "Sir, you taught very well," I'll feel very nice. I'll say that, "Okay, why don't you write a blog on Facebook about me?" People will also know, like, "Acha lagega na mujhe bhi if you write nice about me." Ask your friend, in Hindu, write an article. Everybody feels good when they are praised. Especially when you're in success, rank 1, everybody's writing, everybody's inviting you to give interviews. Keep it under control. Don't get attached to success. How? Purposefully, unless it is interest of the nation. Say thank you. So, for example, if Vajiram calls you, "Come and inspire the future batch." Good, come here. Prime Minister's office summons you. Go, meet the Prime Minister. But if Delhi Times comes and says, "Sir, can I have a photo shoot in Lavasna with you and your partner?" Thank you. I'm not a celebrity. I'm saying this in a special context. You don't realize how you are heading because it's very easy to get carried away in success. Keep a distance from success. If you can do that, if you don't get attached to any success, then the down will also not happen. Just accept how it is. Today is Buddha Purnima. You all know that. There's one thing, a couple of things Buddha said, which I've also told you. Madhyama, the middle path. There's one more thing he said. 2 things I would tell you. Anugacchati pravah and apadipo bhava. Now, you may not appreciate the meaning of these things, but that's what it is to not let this happen. Anugacchati pravah, go with the flow. Don't stress yourself. Go with the flow. And accept the flow. And this is how it is. I was destined, as our friend said, not to go into IAS because then I could have interacted with the thousands of minds that I interact every year. I could inspire them, maybe. I could share something with them. Maybe this is where I was destined. But when the result came, I remember I felt sad. I expected something more. But then, you accept it. Anugacchati pravah. Apodipo bhava. Be your own light. Always people come to me, "Sir, is doubt ka answer, is question ka answer, what is this, what is that, blah, 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 blah." At one point of time, I also tell them, go find out. I've given you a torch, I've given you some skills, go and find out. Answer is out there. I did not come here with the divine knowledge. I also learned, you also learned, people who have taught me, they also learned. Go, apadipo bhava. Find your own answers. That's something which we all should start doing. That's why I keep saying, "Har jao, ye dekho, wo karo, ye padho, wo padho." You know, have that confidence in yourself. And one last thing, just as a summary of everything, the purpose why we are all here, never forget that. Never forget that. Never means till the end of your life. You know, what happens with time, we forget why we came here. So, whenever you took that decision 1 year ago, 1.5 years ago, whenever you took the decision to give the civil service exam, do this, go home today and recall why. What was it that I wanted to achieve? Your goal was not clear the exam. Your goal was something else which required clearing the exam. Maybe your goal was to make your parents proud. I'm sure your goal was not to clear the exam. Goal was something else. Maybe your goal was to actually serve the nation. Maybe your goal was to work and remove some of the problems that you have seen in our society. Kuch ek goal tha, which required you to clear the exam. Never forget that goal. What happens with time, clearing the exam itself becomes the goal for us. It's not the goal. Why this is important? Because even if you don't achieve this, the goal is still there. You have to work for the goal. Only then you'll be happy. If you consider this as the goal, clearing the exam as a goal, then you're getting attached to the means to the goal. I hope you understand the difference between means and goals. Means and ends. This exam is not the end. Okay? Your end is something else. Remember that. Whenever you get distracted in your career also, what am I doing? What is going on? Just recall, why did you come here? Are you doing that? If you are doing that, go ahead. If you are not doing that, you're wasting your own time. Something for which you did not come here, you're doing that. वो क्या goal था वो याद रखना है, उसको लिख लीजिए कहीं. That this is why I wanted to become civil servant, and this will also help you have a good interaction in the interview. That what's the goal, right? One thing which I have been telling some of the other batches, you know, the goal I think you should have. That's why I started this issue of goal. Is what I find very fascinating. Is what Kautilya had written. You know Kautilya? Vishnugupta? Chanakya? Same. Real name was Vishnugupta, you know that. He wrote many books, but one book we know very well, Arthashastra. I know we know nothing about Arthashastra, but because we've never read it. But Arthashastra, it's considered one of the best treatises by an Indian author on administration. Okay? Primarily it's economics, Artha, that is the capital. But at that time, capital was the means for statecraft. So he writes the goal of the state. And you're going to be part of the state. So, you know, as students of PubAd, we used to read this. We used to read just one sentence of it. It's a 2-line couplet. I've told you 1/4 of it already. मैंने बताया होगा आपको क्लास में एक बार कभी. I must have told you, प्रजा सुखे सुखम राजा. I think it's so beautiful, and the real beauty is if you read it whole, if you read it completely. So it says, "Praja sukhe sukham raja, praja nam tu hite hitam, nat ma priyam hitam raja, praja nam tu priyam hitam." And if you can get the essence of this, I think that's the goal we are here for. Praja sukhe sukham raja. That means in the happiness of the people, the subjects, lies the happiness of the king. That means today there is no king, lies the happiness of the administrator, lies the happiness of the state, prime minister, district collector, whatever. Praja naam to hite hitam. It is not his happiness. Whatever is the happiness of the people, he shall consider it as his happiness. Not ma priyam hitam raja. Whatever he thinks is his happiness, that is not his happiness. Praja naam tu priyam hitam. Whatever people think that will give them happiness is the happiness of the king. You are getting into the civil service for this purpose. Also, let me tell you, when you go to Lok Sabha, which you will go to as part of your parliamentary understanding, they'll take you to Lok Sabha. When you go, when you enter, remember this, look up. at the dome, in a circle, this is exactly what they have written there. Prajasukhe Sukham Raja. To keep reminding the legislators of this nation, this is why you have come here. Look up and see your goal. That exactly is your goal also. Whatever you do, it should be in public interest. As long as we are serving that, I think our goal as a civil servant is achieved.